Okay, so SMAC providing a live feed of the social media activity with regard to this event, and then after this event, they'll be perhaps willing to dig into those numbers and show you additionally what kind of impact, immediate, real-time impact this event is having. A couple of folks I'd like to introduce before we get the very short program started. I think, first of all, the members of the Normal Town Council that are in attendance. Just stand up real quick, give everybody a wave. We'll start with Kevin McCarthy, probably the lead as far as the council is concerned with developing technologies and also perhaps taking initial steps to get this Microsoft Alliance going. In no particular order, Kathleen Lawrence, also from the council, Cheryl Gaines, and R.C. McBride. I just saw President Larry Dietz of Illinois State University. Larry gives a wave, and President Rob Widner of Heartland College is here. You know, when you put the names Microsoft and Normal together, all the stars come out. And I might also say all of the entrepreneurs and business startups, particularly in the tech sector, way too many to identify, but we welcome you and thank you for helping us fill up the room. Another CEO, I see Kyle Ham, the CEO of the Bloomington Normal Economic Development Council. And probably the other celebrities in the room are speaking, so I don't need to introduce them right now. But as my father always used to say, anybody needs to be recognized, raise your hand. Oh, okay. Well, it's a great day for the town of Normal, and to kick us off, set the table, set the stage, we'll call on the mayor of the town of Normal, Chris Koos.
Thanks, Dan. And it indeed is a great day. But before we get into this alliance and what this is all about, and of course it's about the future and the future of the community and the skills of the workforce in our community, let's take a look at the past a little bit. You know, in the 19th century, kind of a basis of entry into the workforce was the ability to read and write. That was essential at that time. In the 20th century, early on, it became a high school degree that was important, and later a college degree. But today, it's digital literacy. That is the key for the workforce and the development of the jobs to come in the future. Today is about workforce development and entrepreneurship. But the first step to this is digital literacy, and that's among the breadth of our population in this community. And that's why Microsoft, I think, is here to help today. The town wants to help everybody in this community who desires it to develop those digital literacy skills. And in fact, with the help of Microsoft and a little self-assessment and testing, I'm officially digitally literate, according to Microsoft. And I point out that there are incredible resources that they have available online and through the community here. We're going to hear more about that very soon. Our workforce has been challenged over the years. Primarily, we've lost a lot of manufacturing in this community. Most recently, Mitsubishi Motors closed their operations here. And we have people re-entering the workforce and new people coming into the workforce. And the skills that those people need are changing. Those manufacturing jobs where somebody's running a punch press or putting a tire on a car, those jobs are disappearing. But there are new jobs that are exciting, but they require skills. And this is what we're all about here today. The Microsoft partnership will provide job seekers with tools to refresh or build new digital skills. We will also encourage the next generation of leaders and innovators. A lot of them are here today. For our youth, together with Microsoft, awareness of STEM STEM education and STEM career possibilities. It will support students who choose to pursue their passions and dream big. Finally, we are fortunate to have a growing small business startup community here, and our partnership with Microsoft will help to support these partnerships and the educational opportunities in our community to help them prosper and grow. So, thank you all for coming today, and I'm going to turn this over to Dan again. He's going to Microsoft partner into the meat of what we're really here and talking about today. Thank you.
Now, we were having some microphone problems, operator error actually earlier, so in case you didn't hear, I want to reiterate that the screen that you're seeing here, provided by the SMAC lab at ISU, is providing a live feed in real time of the Twitterverse blogosphere activity that's going on out there in the ether about this event. Without any further ado, I want to get somebody from Microsoft up here who are much more comfortable talking about stuff like that. And Ramel Mitchell from Microsoft.
Well, good afternoon. Well, one of the things that I have the pleasure of doing is working with cities and counties, municipalities throughout the U.S. And today we have an opportunity, as Mayor Coos just mentioned, to announce a wonderful digital alliance. And some of you may be wondering, well, what's a digital alliance? Well, in short, it's this. And the mayor, I think you eloquently kind of suggested this a little earlier, and that is every city, every town today is transforming. Our workforces are transforming. They're becoming more digitally literate, if you will, or the necessity for digital literacy is paramount in today's workforce. And so we need to ensure that we have a robust workforce that understands the skills needed to not just survive, but thrive in today's economy. So Microsoft, over the past 4 or 5 years, launched an initiative called our Digital Alliance, which basically partners with cities and communities throughout the U.S. And in fact, we have a wonderful team here that has supported this initiative. So Sean, Ryan, with Lonnie Phillips, Katie Renner, all of our team has supported the initiative that we have with multiple cities and counties throughout the U.S. Essentially, this digital alliance will encompass 2 primary areas. First, economic development. We've talked a little bit about economic development, but I'll share exactly what that means. When we think about economic development, we think about workforce development and talent development, more specifically talent pipeline development. And so from a workforce development standpoint, we think about those individuals that are transitioning into new careers, perhaps from manufacturing over to careers that are going to be more that are going to require more digital skills. When we think about our pipeline development, we think about those students that are going to be leveraging technology, those individuals that are creating new companies. I think that there were a couple of CEOs of startups that were pointed out here. Those are the individuals that are helping to drive this new wave of technology and innovation, not just in the city of Normal, but throughout the U.S. The other piece of that, and I've just kind of mentioned it, is around entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship is something that's just really, really incredible, one that's near and dear to our heart. And so every city, over the last couple of weeks, I think I've been to 4 or 5, well, actually about 8 states or so. But no matter what city, no matter what state, no matter what community we travel to, the one theme that remains consistent is that entrepreneurs are driving innovation from a city standpoint. They're driving civic innovation. They're driving technology. They're driving new ways to disrupt what we've all been familiar with. And so with our entrepreneurs that are in the city of Normal, we are launching and we're partnering with the city for our digital, for one of our chief digital initiatives, which is BizSpark. And so our BizSpark program is centered around our startup community, our technology startups. And basically what we're providing through this in our partnership with the city is our Microsoft platform to startups for free. And so what that includes, if you think about the Microsoft stack, whether it be the Office Productivity Suite, our server-side suite, and some of our cloud offerings, startups that are less than 5 years old, have less than $1 million of revenue or venture capital, we're providing BizSpark to you through our partnership with the city. We're just extremely excited about this. Where do we think this can go? Well, I mentioned that we go around the country and we have these conversations, but really it's rooted in the belief that new ideas are created by individuals like each of us that are in this room, by these startup companies that are in the room today, by the students that are in high school, by those that are in college, that are in a dorm room thinking about how do I create the next great company. And we believe that BizSpark will help to drive that innovation and provide the tools and technologies that companies need, new companies need, in order to create something new and create growth. The other component of the Digital Alliance that we've signed with the city includes education. I mentioned education a little earlier. I'm going to get a little bit more specific. So when we think about education, we think about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I think everyone has heard STEM over and over and over again. And one of the reasons why we think about STEM and the reason why the STEM conversation continues to resonate across the U.S. and across communities like Normal is because we really do believe and we do see that this has been a driver and will continue being a driver for new jobs and new growth. So our STEM education will focus on K-12 students, particularly those students that are in college and those students that are in high school, so that they provide or that they're provided with net new opportunities and insights into STEM careers and STEM training. So once again, another opportunity for us to just really be excited around this and really gather some momentum around how do we drive and how do we continue to inform and provide opportunities for those that need it. The one piece that I think is also important to know, when the mayor and I were speaking a little earlier, he mentioned that the motto for Normal was changing the definition. Changing the definition. And so when we think about changing the definition, I think we have the opportunity together, Microsoft and the town and the entrepreneur community, the university community that's here, to change the definition in terms of what success is, to change the definition in terms of what economic development can be, to change the definition in terms of how you create a public-private partnership that continues to help the city grow and continues to help the citizens that reside here. I'm going to go back to one piece because I think I touched upon it, but I really want to dive into this point as well. Through this Digital Alliance, individuals will have access to our digital literacy curriculum. And that digital literacy curriculum will provide someone that has absolutely no idea how to leverage a computer, whether it be like what's a mouse, to actually creating an app. And let's think about that for just a second. If we have the ability to provide curriculum, if we have the ability to provide technology through, let's say, our BizSpark program, and we're coming together as a community, we really do have an ability, and we have an opportunity, rather, to ensure that we are changing the definition, and we're allowing those to achieve their dreams, whether there be their professional dreams or entrepreneurial aspirations, but their dreams. And with that said, I think there's a film that we're going to show, or at least an intro to a film called Big Dreams. And we're about to show it here in just a few moments. But once again, thank you. The city has just been phenomenal to work with. If there are any questions, feel free to reach out, RamelM@Microsoft.com. And I think we also have some other links as well associated with this, and we're definitely going to be here for questions afterwards. So thank you again. Appreciate the opportunity to partner with the city, and looking forward to partnering with many of you as we move forward. Thank you.
Walked in the office, I was like, wait, so she just dropped out of high school? I was like, she's pretty much smarter than me.
No one in my family has finished school. I'm the first.
The best thing about being an engineer is that you are going to be like a superhero. I'm doing this because I want the best for her, too.
I don't want Africa to be left behind any longer. I have the big chance to introduce young people technology, to teach young people how to program. I want the next big technology to come from Africa.
I hate the feeling of pity. I don't have any excuses to quit. I don't have any excuses to be wrong.
So begins my battle. So enter my dragons.
There are lots of passionate and creative and talented young girls over here, but they don't know where to go and do projects together.
I was the only girl in my AP Computer Science class, and that was honestly my first exposure to the fact that there weren't many of us. That had to change. We're going to make this thing so fun, people won't want to leave ever.
Thank you, and as a part of the Digital Alliance to promote STEM education, this film, inspirational, terrific film, will be shown at our inspirational, terrific Normal Theater in October. Showings that will be free of charge, and that, which you can tell, which follows the stories of 7 young women who are breaking barriers and overcoming personal challenges, as the mayor pointed out. We've got one more speaker, but before we do that, I want to, for the purposes of the media and everybody else, although Ramel touched upon it really briefly, I want to introduce the Microsoft team that is here to demonstrate the tremendous support that we have had from that corporation. And you met Ramel Mitchell, who is Public Affairs and Citizenship Director for Microsoft. Lonnie Phillips is also here, the Midwest General Manager for Microsoft. And Adam Heckman, who's Director of Technology and Civic Innovation, Chicago. Kate Ramshaw is the Senior Account Executive. And of those, the guy we've had the most contact with, Sean O'Brien, who's a technology strategist and somewhat of a local for us. Thank you. Now, to kind of put the cherry on the sundae, we did want a speaker that could kind of represent the local business community and also the workforce development side of this important alliance. And to do that, there's nobody better than the President and CEO of the McLean County Chamber of Commerce, Charlie Moore.
Thank you, Dan. What a great video, and thank you for the opportunity to be here today. On behalf of the McLean County Chamber of Commerce, I really want to thank the Town of Normal leadership and Microsoft for their collaboration in the development of this strategic digital alliance. This is amazing. This new alliance is a brilliant example of how our public and private sectors can work together to move our community forward by providing access to education and the digital literacy required from today's workforce. Over the last year, the Chamber has fully engaged in a number of efforts to move our regional community forward with a variety of workforce development initiatives as a part of the BN Advantage Economic Development and Marketing Strategy. Leading our workforce effort is Bob Miller, who's the Vice President of Operations for Advocate Berman, and I've asked him to come and share just a bit of what we're working on with you today. So Bob Miller from Advocate Berman, our Workforce Development Chairman.
Thank you, Charlie. Let me just start by saying we're singing from the same hymnal. Seems that way to me. I'd just like to say that it's really exciting to listen to what is being offered in this community, and also is affirming and inspiring. Affirming in that this strategy demonstrates that our efforts with the Workforce Development Committee are aligned with where we need to go collectively as corporations, public entities, employers, educators, and entrepreneurs to bring about meaningful structural change in shaping our future direction within our evolving and dynamic workforce. It's inspiring in that this sort of partnership was formed to help us take a proactive and innovative approach to achieve higher levels of excellence to attract and retain a relevant workforce. Our workforce team, in collaboration with the McLean County Chamber of Commerce and the BN Advantage, includes committed community partners who have been engaged in efforts in two key areas. First, curriculum development, things like STEM or STEAM, career and tech readiness, alignment with employers, and teacher upskills. Second group, employer engagement and partnerships. This provides mentorships, internships, project-based learning, community events, and talent skills assessments. Do you see the connection? Do you understand why this is affirming and inspiring? I certainly do. The alignment is there, but there is still much work ahead. This sort of initiative is foundational to capturing the minds, hearts, and yes, the energy of our present and future workforce. I see this announcement as being representative of efforts to be proactive and engaging in helping to follow our roadmap as outlined in the BN Advantage. In doing this, we will mitigate the impact of complacency and move toward the economic development and diversity required to continue our enviable position as a great place to live and work, regardless of the complexities of a mixed generational workforce. Thank you.
So to the town and to Microsoft, thank you. Thank you for this digital alliance. We look forward to working with you and partnering together to move our workforce development initiatives forward faster and better than before. So thank you very much for the opportunity, Dan, to be here today. I don't know about a cherry on top, but we tried.
For all these scores of young people in the audience, cherry on top, it's kind of an old school expression, you probably know. Okay, I think to wrap things up, I'm assuming that the media has questions, but I'm sure a lot of people have questions. So I'm going to ask Ramel and the mayor to come up, and if the media have any specific questions, so that we can all maybe hear their answers, I'd ask you to go ahead and voice those now, you guys. Go ahead.
Can you tell me how this developed and how long?
Sure. This has probably been in development for 18 to 24 months, somewhere in that range. And it started with a discussion having to do with being Tech Town in the community. And partners got together, Councilman McCarthy, Sean O'Brien, talking about opportunities in the community. I think they kind of set the pace for this to move forward. And as it grew within Microsoft and within the town of Normal, this alliance came together.
And just to add to that, I mean, one of the things that we really value is this partnership. And so you've heard the term partnership several times. And so great example of that partnership is the partnership that Sean created and with the city, and the city's office really just moving this forward. And so when we thought about this from our standpoint, looking at what the city was trying to do, in terms of creating an atmosphere that was conducive to workforce development. This just aligned so perfectly well to the resources that we had. So going back to entrepreneurship, reaching and leveraging the BizSpark components, looking at the workforce development component and the talent pipeline component with the digital literacy, it just really aligned to the vision that the city had for its residents and its citizens here, and our vision in terms of empowering everyone and every organization. And so it was just perfect timing and just really great work on the city side. And then, that work was also reflected, and we tried to match that same type of enthusiasm and energy on our side so that we could land this well. Yeah, so workforce development, there are a couple of components. We have digital literacy curriculum that we're providing to the town, and basically that curriculum will enable someone that has basically no understanding, if you will, or very little understanding of technology to build on their skills and competency. Actually, it will take them from a very basic level of computer literacy to an advanced level of computer literacy. In addition to that, we're providing train-the-trainer training, if you will, to others within the community. So there are going to be leads from the town and other NGOs that will receive training to show others, if you will, how to leverage this digital literacy curriculum, right? So it's about building a sustainable model and building the ability to have a wide usage of resources centered on our digital literacy curriculum. The other component in terms of BizSpark, that's actually really, really multi-layered, right? And so that includes our Microsoft Office products, that includes our Windows products, that includes our server products, that includes Azure as well, so our cloud platform for those startups. So those are actual tools that today those organizations that are leveraging BizSpark can utilize to develop and to create their businesses or to build applications and solutions on the stack. The other piece of that is that the Alliance also provides an additional layer of visibility and partnership, once again, with Microsoft. We have about 30 individuals that live in this area. And so when we think about engaging the city and additional access and visibility to the resources from Microsoft, it does provide an additional layer of visibility as well. As we continue throughout this agreement, and it's a 24-month agreement, I believe, and Sean might correct me if I'm wrong on that, but as we continue the agreement, we also see other areas where we include or potentially work with the city with our Imagine Academy and other programs that we have. So the goal here is to start with a really rich set of tools and offerings, and then build upon that and build upon the relationship that we have with the town.
I want to just take an additional swing at that, Maria, because we've had so much to cover today. I want to make sure that this doesn't get lost. The digital literacy training that they're talking about, while it is quite readily available online, the mayor and the town council, in the spirit of making things accessible to everyone in the community, have committed our resources at the Normal Public Library, additional resources if needed, to enable anyone to have access to this digital literacy curriculum.
Where would they go if somebody wanted to?
Sorry. Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say the point of contact is probably going to be the library at this point, with that Normal Public Library.
So being a founder of a startup, this is really exciting, especially with BizSpark and all the opportunities. But like my second hat is teaching at ISU. I was curious if you have any specific plans or how you see this partnership helping ISD.
Yeah, so so first, let me just acknowledge congratulations on being a young tech entrepreneur. Love that, love hearing that. We're always excited about it, and excited that you're excited about BizSpark. In terms of universities, so we have a really unique relationship with a number of universities throughout the country, and actually throughout the globe. And one of the things, once again, that this provides is visibility into opportunities to work with the surrounding educational institutions. Within the Digital Alliance itself, we haven't necessarily called out like a relationship with the local universities, if you will. But generally speaking, what we do have the ability to do is extend that type of relationship. So what does that mean? We have another program that's basically DreamSpark, which is very similar to our We Love Spark, which leverages our tools for students. And so when you think about student developers, building out the student developer community, that's actually one tool that we use quite frequently. The other piece of that is our Imagine Cup, and there are a number of universities that participate in Imagine Cup. So long story short, on this piece, it is a global competition for computer science students, or those that are developing apps, those that are creating new and unique solutions. And we would love to maybe talk to the university around how do you leverage things like DreamSpark, how do you leverage things like or participate in our Imagine Cup activities, and then what other activities are you doing in the community? Generally speaking, what we would like to do in each of the communities that we're in, we usually work with the city. We love working with schools. And where it works really beautifully is that over time, when we're evolving the relationship to be really, really quite inclusive, to include universities, to include community colleges, to include K-12, and then, of course, our economic development arms and other NGOs. And so we could see that actually evolving and including universities as well. So if you want to get into the details of it, we can chat after as well.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, to wrap things up, this is, and to maybe further answer Maria's question, this is day one, literally day one of this alliance. The announcement really is that Microsoft is here. Microsoft is here in the town of Normal, and we will be working hand in glove, moving forward for at least the next 24 months to work on things like STEM education, workforce development, and entrepreneurship. We will keep you, we have more ways to communicate with the public than we have ever had before, and we will be constantly updating, communicating, and enabling people to know how they will register if they need to for the digital literacy programs. And I'm sure our friends in the media will help us along the way as well. The final word, really, before I ask Nate Campbell to come up here for part of the gathering B, is to give a shout out to the assistant to the city manager, Ben McCready, who's the guy standing right there and just waving, who really has been the driving force and kind of the management of this entire effort and this day specifically. And with the official part of the program finished, is Nate is going to come up, and I don't know if you noticed this monitor when it was on, but there were line after line after line of activity on the live feed. So Nate will do some discussion and show you what SMAC is able to do with something like an event like this. Tremendous turnout. Thank you so much for giving us the middle of your Tuesday afternoon, and Hashtag Microsoft Normal. Keep going all day, all week, forever. Thank you.